The story, The Strongest Streamer with Four Swords, begins introducing a fierce, blonde-haired young man named Hate, wielding four blades, alongside a determined-looking, long-haired woman, Elena. In the midst of a heated battle, a massive minotaur-like boss roars. Below, Hate analyzes the situation, noting the boss just used a major skill, leaving it with low health. He plans to dodge its standard attacks and nullify its upcoming magic attack with his magic sealing sword. With a final, decisive strike, Hate declares, "Time to end this." A quest complete notification appears as he strikes a victory pose, boasting that with his four-sword style, it was an easy solo win. The scene shifts to the real world. Hate, sitting at his computer, is live streaming to over 5,000 concurrent viewers. He smiles, proud of showcasing the true power of his four-sword style, while his chat floods with praise and excitement. As Hate considers what to stream next, perhaps the newly dropped dungeon, a notification pings on his screen. It's a message from the FWO admin, catching his attention. Hate's eyes widen in shock as he reads the admin's notice. With an upcoming update, the manipulators for the multi-blade swordsman class will be removed, and as a result, his signature four-sword style is being abolished. In the world of Farlum World Online, heroes like Hate soar above the sprawling city, ready for adventure. Welcome to FWO, Farlum World Online, the most popular full-dive MMORPG with over 100 million players, where you cooperate with friends to conquer tower-like dungeons that have appeared across the VR world. In a town square within the game, a group of players spots a familiar figure. "Hey, isn't that Hate?" one asks, pointing towards him. "The guy who uses the four-sword style." Another player comments that Hate looks completely zoned out. A status window reveals his identity: Hate Shizukishi, a multi-blade swordsman and four-sword style user, ranked 132 in the world. The players gossip about Hate's predicament. They know the four-sword style is being removed in the next update. They remark on how difficult the manipulator equipment is to use, noting that Hate is honestly the only one who could ever master it. Suddenly, a girl rushes towards him, shouting, "I found you, Hate. PvP me. Today's the day I finally win." Her player card identifies her as Elena, an archer and great bow user, ranked 7502. The onlookers are stunned. It's Lady Elena, the popular streamer. They whisper rumors that she's the daughter of the Shinonome Group, one of Japan's great financial conglomerates, and that she just throws money at the game to get the strongest gear. Elena grabs Hate, trying to snap him out of his daze. "Snap out of it. Why are you mumbling like that?" she yells, as he faintly mutters her name, still lost in his thoughts. Later, Hate and Elena are in a tavern. The other patrons are discussing the news. "Is it true?" one asks another. "The abolition of manipulators. I saw the admin notice." Hate confirms the decision is final, having asked an admin he knows. Elena tries to lighten the mood, saying it's a lucky break for her since he'll be weaker, but quickly apologizes, admitting she was just joking. Elena asks about his plan now. Hate replies that he's still got a month until they phase it out, and that he's going to play it to the absolute fullest until then. Elena is shocked, asking if he's seriously thinking of quitting. Elena insists that a player like him, who could top the leaderboards with any class, isn't allowed to quit before she can finally beat him. Hate looks down, dejected, saying she's giving him too much credit and that without the four-sword style, he's nothing. He then asks, "Why are you so attached to it?" Hate suddenly erupts with passion. "Do you even have to ask?" he yells, startling Elena. "Because the four-sword style is the greatest there is." He passionately explains his love for the style, the blinding speed, the power to attack and defend at once, the sheer number of strikes, and above all, how unbelievably cool and fun it is to use. He calls it a true masterpiece. A flashback shows his journey. When he first started, the manipulators were so hard to control, he could barely do anything. But he practiced every single day until he could finally move them the way he wanted, a feeling of incredible triumph washing over him when he beat a boss by himself for the first time. The memories continue, showing him conquering every dungeon, every boss, and every stream, all with his beloved four-sword style. Back in the present, Hate looks down at his drink, his voice filled with emotion. "My entire FWO journey. is intertwined with the four-sword style. I can't even imagine using another class. I only want to fight with my four swords. Elena watches him, murmuring his name. She reaches out as if to comfort him, but her hand trembles and stops midair. She pulls back, flustered and blushing, clearly moved by his raw passion but unsure how to respond. Overcome with a mix of embarrassment and determination, Elena shouts, "Arg, whatever. Hate, are you free after this?" Not waiting for an answer, she points at him and declares, "You and I, we're forming a party." Elena lays out her plan. They will conquer the newly implemented Tower of Sky, rumored to be FWO's most difficult dungeon that only 13 parties have ever cleared. Hade is taken aback by her bold proposal to tackle it as a duo. Elena passionately declares that they're going to get his name carved into the Conqueror's monument. This, she argues, will leave behind definitive proof that a player cleared FWO's hardest dungeon using the four-sword style. Hate thanks Elena for the thought, but tells her he isn't planning on teaming up with anyone. Flustered, Elena insists he shouldn't get the wrong idea. She's only helping him out because she happens to be free. Exasperated, Elena demands to know why not, reminding him that she's a top ranker who can more than pull her own weight. Hate quickly clarifies, saying, "No, it's not about that." Elena's tone softens. She nervously clasps her hands and pleads with him, "Let's just clear this dungeon together. Just this one time. For one last memory, please." Hate finally relents, agreeing to her request. "All right, just this once," he says. Elena lights up with joy, her face beaming as she confirms if he really means it. Hate's spirits seem to lift as well. He tells himself there's no point in moping and tells Elena to stop spacing out and follow him. Giddy with excitement, she happily agrees, and the two head off. Arriving at the dungeon, Hate gazes up at the immense, spiraling Tower of Sky. With renewed determination, he clenches his fist and vows, "I'm going to enjoy this to the very end." A crowd of frustrated players mills around the entrance. One complains that the dungeon's difficulty is insane and that his full 16-man raid is hard stuck on the 4th floor, claiming the balance is totally broken. As Hate and Elena confidently stride past the defeated players and into the dungeon, the crowd scoffs at them. Did those two seriously just go in by themselves? One asks in disbelief. "Huh, talk about a death wish," says another. "A duo clear? Yeah, right." The moment they step inside, they're swarmed by a horde of angelic and monstrous creatures. A caption explains that a 10-man team is typically required just to clear the 1st floor. Without missing a beat, Hate leaps into action, a whirlwind of blades slicing through multiple enemies at once. He effortlessly carves a path through the mob, while Elena provides cover from a distance. Hate calls out a warning to Elena about an approaching monster. With a confident smile, she replies, "Leave it to me," and expertly fires off a volley of arrows, taking down her targets with precision. Hate's battlefield awareness is on full display as he calmly assesses the entire room. He identifies enemies on the upper floor, in the rear, and even a hidden caster, before declaring, "I've got this one," and moving to engage. Elena watches in awe. She's never had a partner this easy to sync with. She marvels at his insane field awareness, noting how he simultaneously acts as an attacker and a tank while setting her up for easy fights. To her, Hate is on a whole other level. Having reached the 6th floor with ease, Hate casually wonders if this is all the floor has to offer. Elena, sitting on a broken pillar, boasts that it's a piece of cake and that they haven't even had to use any of their good items. During their short break, Elena turns to Hate. She notes that for a guy who only ever plays solo, he's surprisingly good at teamwork and asks him why he's so insistent on playing alone. Hate remains silent. Elena continues, pointing out the many advantages of playing in a party. Seeing his reluctance, she tells him it's fine if he doesn't want to answer. Leaning in with a gentle smile, Elena adds, "But you have to admit this is nice, right? Clearing a dungeon with someone by your side." Hate considers her words, admitting to himself that she has a point. He realizes the only reason they're breezing through is because he has a skilled player like Elena with him. Elena proudly chimes in, saying he should be thanking her for her support. Hate agrees, saying you're right. "Thanks, Elena," and spontaneously pats her on the head. Stunned and blushing furiously, Elena stammers, was that for? You can't just go around patting a girl on the head like that. As Elena continues to stammer in embarrassment, thinking he has zero tact, Hate quickly apologizes, promising it won't happen again. Wadash. No, wait, that's not what I meant, she retorts, flustered. Continuing their ascent, the duo comes across a treasure chest. While Elena kneels to open it, Hate stands guard, ever watchful of their surroundings. Suddenly, a trap is sprung, and Elena is caught in a magical bind. As a giant boulder hurtles towards them from a crystal-covered hallway, Hate calmly grabs her and pulls her out of the way just in time. Having narrowly escaped the rolling boulder, they run side by side, both laughing, exhilarated by the thrill of the close call. Their teamwork carries them forward, bringing them ever closer to their final destination. They arrive at the ornate doors of the boss room. Elena asks if he's streaming, and he confirms it's off. With no intel on the boss, they're going in blind. All set, she asks. Let's do this, he replies. Just before they enter, Elena turns to Hate with a competitive glint in her eye. Since we couldn't have our PvP earlier, she suggests. How about a little competition here? Elena lays out the rules. The first one to land the finishing blow on the boss's core is the winner, and the loser has to grant the winner one wish. Hate counters, offering to do anything she asks if she wins. Elena raises the stakes. But if I win, you can't quit FWO. She looks at him with fierce determination, her condition hanging in the air between them. So, do we have a deal? A confident smirk spreads across Hate's face. You're on, he accepts. They seal their pact with a resounding clap, officially starting their race to see who can take down the boss first. They step into the boss chamber, a serene, windswept field of white flowers under a starlit sky. At the far end stands a colossal, mournful statue of a winged goddess. The statue cracks and crumbles, revealing the true boss within. A monstrous, serpentine goddess emerges, identified as Tiamatina, the area boss of the Tower of Sky. She lets out a piercing roar. The battle begins. Hate charges forward, blades ready, as Elena provides support from the rear. Tiamatina unleashes a flurry of tentacles, but Hate skillfully deflects them with his manipulators. The boss summons a massive, ornate spear and hurls it with incredible force. As Elena attacks from the air, Hate is forced to dodge. Whoa, seriously? He exclaims. Tiamatina's attacks are relentless. Hate gets too close and is thrown back by her speed. Its speed is unreal, he shouts. Elena calls out his name, unable to keep up. Not wanting to be left behind, Elena decides to go all out. Sorry, but I'm going all out from the start, she declares, explaining that she had hoped to debut this new skill in their PvP match. With a confident gesture, Elena summons a ring of 8 floating mechanical devices, known as gambits, which hover around her, ready to attack. Hate is floored. Gambits? And 8 of them? He shouts in disbelief, wondering just how much money Elena must have spent to acquire such high-level gear. Elena boasts that her top-class gambits can obliterate a cursed dragon in a single hit. She unleashes a coordinated barrage of energy blasts, pinning the boss down. If you keep slacking off, I'll finish this boss myself and take the win, she warns. Despite Elena's powerful assault, Tiamatina retaliates with a massive horizontal sweep of her tentacles, forcing both players to dodge desperately. The boss unleashes a storm of tentacles, filling the arena and forcing Hate and Elena to evade the chaotic assault. As Tiamatina begins chanting in an ancient language, surrounded by magical circles, Elena urgently warns Hate. Hey, this is no time to be impressed. Something huge is coming. The boss unleashes a massive beam of destructive energy. Hate knows that a direct hit would kill them in one shot. They both leap out of the way just as the attack obliterates the ground where they stood. After the devastating attack, Tiamatina's form begins to crackle and change. Hate calls out, "You alive, Elena?" She quickly responds, "I'm fine. Don't underestimate me." Elena admits to herself that she is not fine at all. If it weren't for her divine protection skill, she'd be dead twice over. She analyzes the boss, realizing it's a type that gets stronger over time as its speed and power are gradually increasing. The situation grows dire. Elena can't hit the main body because the tentacles block her shots. Hate sees no opening to counterattack. Elena knows she must risk it all on one more attack, but a single hit means she's finished. Just as despair sets in, a grin spreads across Hayate's face. Heh, against a boss like this, looks like I'll have to finally get serious. Elena looks on in utter shock, wondering why he's smiling at a time like this. Hayate switches his weapons, and Elena is stunned again. She recognizes the legendary swords of the Dragon Vault, and realizes he has a full set of 4, questioning how much he must have spent. Hayate declares it's time to show them what he's really got. Crouching low amidst the flowers, a confident smile on his face, Hayate announces his ultimate technique. Hayate-style 4-sword secret art. Oboro. Elena's eyes widen in disbelief as Hayate's manipulators seem to vanish completely. In the next instant, he becomes the epicenter of a destructive whirlwind, as invisible slashes shred through the boss's tentacles with impossible speed. Elena realizes in astonishment that the manipulators didn't actually disappear. Hayate is operating them at such an impossible speed that her eyes can't even perceive their movements. Hayate explains internally that this is his ultimate defensive technique, which took over a year to master. It requires immense control, as one mistake could cause him to take massive damage or even shatter his own swords. With the boss's attacks now being parried, Hayate shouts, "Let's hit it with everything we've got, Elena." Filled with renewed hope, she responds with a determined right. Hayate's Oboro technique creates multiple afterimages, effectively parrying the boss's relentless tentacle attacks and creating an opening. Seizing the opportunity Hayate has created, Elena unleashes a powerful shot from her great bow, striking the boss while Hayate presses his own assault. Elena draws back her bow, charging her ultimate skill. She fires a massive, ornate arrow that screams through the air and pierces Tiamatina's chest, causing the boss to cry out in pain. As the boss reels from the impact, Elena shouts, "Hayate, now." He thanks her and charges forward, just as Tiamatina desperately throws up a hexagonal barrier to defend itself. Hayate's charge doesn't slow. He smashes headfirst into the barrier, causing it to crack and splinter under the sheer force of his momentum. As the barrier shatters around him, Hayate confidently taunts the boss. "You think a barrier like this can stop my 4-sword style?" With a final, powerful strike using all 4 of his legendary swords, Hayate drives his blades into Tiamatina's core, causing it to crack. Elena watches, mesmerized by his power. A quest complete banner appears overhead. Amidst a shower of loot and the disintegrating boss, Elena and Hayate share a triumphant high-five, shouting in unison, "We did it!" After the battle, Elena points to the monolith. Their names, Hayate and Elena, are now engraved on it, along with their classes for sword style and archer, marking them as the 14th party to clear the dungeon. Hayate looks at their names with satisfaction, declaring it proof that the 4-sword style cleared FWO's hardest dungeon. Elena then cheekily reminds him of their bet, pointing out that since he landed the finishing blow, she is the winner. Thinking about the wish she's owed, Elena gets flustered. "Well, I said anything, but, and nothing pervy, okay?" she stammers, adding that they're still minors. Hayate coolly replies that he'll let her know when he thinks of something. Hayate's expression turns serious. Looking at the monument, he says he's glad to have made one last great memory, but he's still going to quit. He feels this is the right time to stop. He turns to her with a warm, genuine smile. "Thanks for inviting me, Elena," she smiles back, looking both happy and sad as she replies, "Yeah." They stand together on a balcony, their adventure complete. Looking out over the vast, beautiful landscape of Farlum World Online one last time, Hayate shouts his farewell to the world he's leaving behind. FWO. Thanks for everything. Back in the real world, Hayate logs out and collapses onto his bed with a sigh of relief. The clock on his wall shows it's late, marking the end of a long, emotional day. Lying in bed, Hayate goes over his to-do list, announce his retirement on stream, thank his sponsors, talk to his mom about his future after graduation, and maybe hit the books to get into a local college. He wonders if his fans will be sad. He lets out a long, weary sigh, the weight of his decisions and the uncertainty of the future pressing down on him. He closes his eyes, a small smile on his face as he thinks back on his time in the game. FWO. That was fun. Suddenly, a system message appears before his eyes. Commencing world update. He opens his eyes, confused. An instant later, his entire room begins to shake violently. He jolts upright in bed, shocked and disoriented. The shaking intensifies, throwing him from his chair and knocking his monitor off his desk. What the? An earthquake, he thinks, struggling to comprehend what's happening. The tremors finally subside, leaving his room in disarray. Hate cautiously gets up from under his desk where he took cover, looking around in bewilderment. Wondering about the strange announcement he heard just before the shaking, Hate goes to his window. As he slides it open, his eyes widen in utter disbelief. Something unbelievable entered my vision, he narrates. Outside his window, a colossal, dark tower looms over the city skyline, reaching far higher than any 50-story building. He recognizes it instantly. That's a tower-type dungeon from FWO. Staring at the impossible sight, he finds that contrary to his confusion, his heart was pounding in his chest, in a good way. A grin spreads across his face as he recognizes the familiar thrill. This feeling in my chest. It's the same as when I played FWO for the very first time. The synchronization between the real world and FWO is complete. Looking out his window, Hate is shocked to see a giant tower suddenly appear in his neighborhood. He immediately recognizes it as a tower-type dungeon from the game FWO and questions if he's dreaming. But before he can even process it, his body is already moving on its own. Without a second thought, Hate dashes out of his home and sprints down the street toward the mysterious tower, leaving his bewildered neighbors behind. Meanwhile, news reports begin to cover the bizarre event. A news anchor announces that this strange phenomenon isn't localized. Mysterious towers are appearing all across the globe. The broadcast shows images from all over the world. The towers have materialized simultaneously in places like France, America, and Egypt. Their design is identical to those in the full-dive game FWO, but the operating GG Corporation denies any involvement. The anchor reports that over 10 such towers have been confirmed in Japan alone, and the cause is still unknown. Amidst the global confusion, a strange video has started going viral online. The video features a cheerful, angelic being with elf-like ears and a halo. She introduces herself with a peace sign as the one and only, perfect, flawless, creator god and ultra-adorable Megumi-sama-chan. In a bizarre performance with maracas, Megumi-sama-chan excitedly takes credit for creating the towers that have been freaking everyone out, asking for a round of applause. Her broadcast is seen by people everywhere, from a lone man eating noodles in his room to crowds watching on public screens. She explains that she figured humans, being a bunch of game-loving nerds, would get a kick out of real-world dungeons. As people react with a mix of disbelief and excitement, Megumi-sama-chan continues her speech. She claims that unlike the boring real world, the dungeons she created are packed with fun and coolness, calling for the heroes of the future to ascend the towers. Back on the ground, a crowd gathers near the tower. While some urge caution, others are buzzing with excitement, wondering if it's some kind of alternate reality game and are eager to go inside. Megumi-sama-chan cheekily adds that she has set up a streaming site so everyone can watch what's happening inside the dungeons, urging her viewers to subscribe and ring the bell. At the base of the tower, a glowing portal opens. An announcement welcomes the eager crowd to FWO, and people begin rushing inside. Inside, the adventurers are amazed to find that the interior of the Tower of Black looks exactly like it does in the game, complete with the Farlum World Online logo. Just like in the game, a menu appears prompting them to select a combat class. The adventurers eagerly choose to be swordsmen, mages, and martial artists before proceeding through the next door. Now equipped, the new heroes of the future are wished divine protection on their adventure as they step into the dungeon proper. Their adventure immediately turns into a nightmare as they are swarmed by goblins and other low-level monsters. The unprepared group panics and flees in terror. The reality of combat proves too much for the gamers. A martial artist is mobbed and beaten, a mage has no idea how to actually cast a spell, and a swordsman can't even land a single hit. One player, a man with glasses who calls himself Mr. 10K Hours, claims his 10,000 hours of playtime in FWO will be enough. He confidently tells everyone to gather and follow his lead, as every monster has a specific attack pattern. However, his confidence is short-lived. A blonde swordsman finds himself cornered by a goblin, his sword blocked as he cries out that this is nothing like what the goddess promised. In another part of the world, a military squad arrives at the tower near the Statue of Liberty. They report to command that they are on site and commencing a tower suppression operation. The soldiers breach the entrance, weapons raised. However, as they open fire on the monsters inside, they quickly realize that their rounds are having no effect whatsoever. A large, brutish monster charges forward, unfazed by the gunfire. The soldiers are thrown back as they report that not only are their weapons useless, but the target's mass appears to be increasing. The operation collapses into chaos. With their comms down and traps in the rear, the soldiers are wiped out by the monsters, left to wonder what in the world is going on in there. Elsewhere, a streamer watching the live feeds from the various dungeons can't help but laugh. He calls the spectacle comedy gold, mocking both the special forces for getting bodied and the gamers for being noob posers who don't even know basic mechanics like not attacking a guarding troll. Taking a sip of his drink, the streamer calmly analyzes the situation. He concludes that both groups are failing for opposite reasons. The soldiers have no game knowledge, while the gamers have no physical skill. To succeed, he muses, you need a perfect blend of both, a combination most people simply don't possess. Just as the streamer finishes his analysis, the live feed from the Tower of Black shows a new figure single-handedly wading into the fray. The streamer leans in, intrigued and confused, wondering who this new guy is. It's Hate. He effortlessly leaps through the horde of monsters that overwhelm the other adventurers. He looks around in amazement, exclaiming, "No way! It really is the inside of the dungeon." Watching the stream, the commentator is stunned as Hate tears through the monsters all by himself. He recognizes the unique movements, identifying him as a four-sword style user, and wonders who it could possibly be. Word spreads like wildfire online. A post on the social media site 4tubu quickly identifies the insane player as Hate. Other viewers are shocked, pointing out that his real face looks exactly like his in-game avatar. Hate's sudden appearance becomes a viral sensation. While some viewers ask who he is, veteran gamers confirm he's the legendary four-sword style user, just as overpowered in real life as he was in the game. Having cleared the lower mobs, Hate now stands before a massive troll. Onlookers explain his fame. Hate is the only streamer who could master the ridiculously difficult four-sword style, boasting 2.32 million subscribers and a world rank of 132. With his unique four-bladed harness, he strikes a pose. He is Hate, Japan's strongest FWO solo player, and the master of the four-sword style. The troll swings its massive club, but Hate effortlessly dodges, weaving between its legs and slicing at it with his blades. The viewers are stunned. The streamer shouts in amazement, pointing out that Hate's physical agility is off the charts, allowing him to evade the troll's heavy swing by a razor's edge. The streamer remembers Hate's legendary dedication. He recalls how Hate would do 10,000 practice swing endurance streams and upload videos of himself practicing acrobatics, all to refine his four-sword style. This real-world training pays off as Hate gracefully leaps onto the troll's arm and delivers a powerful strike. The stream viewers realize he's a true four-sword style maniac who had been seriously training his body this whole time. As Hate strikes down the troll, another adventurer wonders aloud what the point of physically training for a video game was. Hate, casually resting his blade on his shoulder, simply proves that he's on a whole other level of crazy. A monster drops an item, and Hate is ecstatic to find an iron sword. He discovers he can upgrade items just like in the game and, without a second thought, spends 300,000 yen to max it out, completely oblivious to the chat freaking out about him using real money. Now fully equipped with his upgraded iron sword, a beginner's manipulator, a leather chestplate, and other gear, Hate deems himself ready. He confidently strides towards the door to floor 10. The viewers are in shock. They can't believe he's already at the boss room on floor 10, especially when the highly trained U.S. Special Forces had to retreat back on floor 7. Hate comes face to face with the area boss of the Tower of Black, the massive and intimidating stone dragon. The sheer size and pressure of the dragon terrify the stream's viewers, who question how anyone could possibly fight that thing alone. The stone dragon immediately lunges forward in a devastating charge, smashing the stone floor where Hate just stood. Hate acknowledges that his armor is just a mishmash of stuff he's picked up. He knows that if he takes even a single hit from the growling beast, it could be over. But Hate remains perfectly calm. He smirks, thinking to himself, "How many hundreds of times do you think I've cleared the Tower of Black? I have all your attack patterns memorized." He immediately puts his knowledge to the test, expertly dodging the dragon's first move, anticipating the follow-up charge, and then gracefully leaping over the tail swipe that comes right after. Following his memorized script, Hate doesn't flinch. He charges straight in, knowing the dragon will follow up with a four-leg attack, creating the opening he needs. With a powerful shout, Hate drives his blade into the dragon's leg, landing the first decisive blow. The streamer is flabbergasted, wondering how Hate can charge a dragon without a hint of fear. Meanwhile, Hate feels his attacks connecting, confirming that weapon upgrades work just like the game. He grins, filled with the certainty that he can win this. Hate continues his flawless combat dance, calling out the patterns in his head as he executes them. Parry a left-hand swipe with a manipulator, dodge a bite to the right, and counter with a double strike. Knowing he can't tank a magic attack directly, he prepares for the dragon's next assault as he lands another blow. Continuing his assault, Hate uses his manipulators to brace himself against the crumbling ground, allowing him to kick off with all his might and jump to evade the dragon's attack. He continues to perfectly counter every one of the dragon's moves, running clockwise to evade its mid-range attack and landing precise hits to interrupt its breath attack, just as he'd done hundreds of times in the game. The viewers can't believe their eyes. The streamer, completely flabbergasted, says that Hate is totally dominating the dragon with his own real body, questioning if he's even human. Hate knows the fight is almost over. He plans to get the dragon's health right down to the 10% threshold, anticipating that it will use its ultimate attack. Then, as the viewers watch in awe, he launches himself into the air to finish the fight with a single, perfect blow. He brings his blade crashing down on the stone dragon's head, shattering its rocky armor in a decisive final strike. With a final cry, the stone dragon is defeated. A familiar quest complete banner appears over the rubble, and Hate lets out a triumphant cheer. The world erupts in celebration. Stream viewers call his solo clear insane and label him a legend. On the Goddess channel, the view count skyrockets past 7 million as everyone rushes to subscribe. After the quest is complete, Hate stands alone. He had thought he was done with FWO, but now, with tears in his eyes, he realizes that in the end, he wants to keep fighting with his four-sword style. Suddenly, a new system announcement startles him. The Tower of Black has been conquered, and as a result, the Tier 2 dungeon, the Tower of the Spring, will now be unlocked. Hate hops up to the roof of the tower and is shocked to see another, brand new tower materializing out of the ground in the city. He realizes the mechanic is the same as the game. Clear one tower, and a new one unlocks. He grins, excited that he can still fight. Meanwhile, the stream of his clear spreads across the globe, viewed over 100 million times in a single day. Hate's impossible feat catches the attention of world leaders, military commanders, and shadowy figures. They all marvel at his movements and give the same order. Find out everything there is to know about that boy. But as the eyes of the entire world begin to fixate upon him, the boy himself remains blissfully unaware, lost in his own happiness. Megumi-sama-chan is in absolute shock. She can't believe her super difficult dungeon has been cleared already. She panics, thinking everyone will get bored and leave if the game is considered too easy. In a frantic state, she calls out for Sadaharu, who is revealed to be the dungeon design lead and a former FWO chief programmer. She desperately tells Sadaharu that people won't have fun unless the dungeons are more of a challenge. She demands he get their secret weapon ready, the overpowered special boss with cheat-level stats. Sadaharu protests, saying the boss's specs are for Tier 5 or higher and that he hasn't even finished balancing it. But Megumi frantically pleads with him to just do it. Having gotten her way, Megumi pumps her fists, excitedly declaring that she's going to crank the difficulty way up for the next dungeon to make it even more fun for everyone. As he gets to work, Sadaharu looks at a screen of corrupted data related to hate. He mutters that there's something off about this person and ominously warns, "Don't say I didn't warn you." Back on the streets, Hate emerges from the tower, feeling refreshed. He celebrates a fun run and decides to head to the next dungeon, but he's immediately spotted by a crowd. Before he can react, Hate is swarmed by a mob of reporters from various networks like Sun TV and the Daily Report, all shoving microphones in his face. He's bombarded with questions about everything from his age and hobbies to the secret of his incredible strength. Overwhelmed, he yells at them to back off, saying he needs to get to the next dungeon. As the chaotic media scrum presses in, one reporter manages to get close, holding out a recorder and asking for an exclusive interview. Before Hate can react, the reporter is forcefully removed by two imposing men in black suits. The journalist's angry protests are cut short the moment he lays eyes on the crest on their jackets, a symbol of power he instantly recognizes. The men in black suits efficiently clear the area, forming an intimidating circle that isolates Hate from the crowd of reporters. Still processing the mob scene, Hate looks up as a woman approaches. She scolds him, saying she can't believe he'd just jump into something so dangerous without a second thought. Hate immediately recognizes the voice. It's Elena, who calls him an idiot and tells him to try using his head for once. With a snap of her fingers, Elena gives an order to one of her bodyguards, Michael, secure him in the vehicle. Before Hate can even react, he's swiftly wrapped up in a rope net and hoisted into the air by Elena's security detail. Hate is unceremoniously tossed into a black limousine. Elena tells him explanations can wait as the car speeds away, leaving the stunned crowd behind. Inside the car, Elena makes a formal declaration. From this day forward, the powerful Shinonome group will be taking custody of Hate. A confused Hate asks what she means. Elena shows him a tablet displaying his stream, explaining that it went viral globally and has over 100 million views, causing a massive uproar online. She explains that he's now the golden goose. Politicians and corporations are already making moves, desperate to get their hands on the boy who easily cleared a dungeon that even the U.S. Special Forces couldn't beat. She says that's why they moved to secure him first, as there's no telling what would happen if those other groups got to him. She then gets flustered, denying she was worried and claiming it was a coincidence, while Hate questions if the rope was really necessary. Elena declares that he'll be living at her family's mansion to lay low. Hate vehemently protests, saying he wants to go to the next dungeon, but Elena reveals she's already gotten permission from his mother. As Hate continues to struggle, shouting that he needs to get to the dungeon, Elena orders Michael to use the stun gun. Hate screams as he's tossed into compliance. They arrive at an enormous, opulent mansion where a massive staff of maids is lined up to welcome Lady Elena and Master Hate. Still tied up, Hate is astounded by the number of staff, wondering how many people work there. Elena casually replies, 100, give or take. A woman with short dark hair and a maid outfit gives a curtsy, introducing herself as the Shinonome estate head maid, Saori Tadu. As Elena introduces Saori, the head maid blushes, telling Hate it's an honor to meet him and that the young mistress has told her so much about him. Saori begins to spill the beans, revealing that Elena was just telling her how happy she was to have partied with him. A flustered Elena shouts at her to stop sharing unnecessary details and to show Hate to his room. Suddenly, a man's voice booms from the top of the stairs, shouting, "A boy!" It's Elena's father, the head of the Shinonome group, Nobutaka Shinomome, and he is furious. Elena confirms it's her dad, who immediately forbids a boy from living under the same roof as his daughter. He confronts Hate directly, demanding to know his name and his relationship with his precious daughter. Nobutaka grabs Hate, threatening to bring the full economic and political might of the Shinonome group down upon him to ensure his utter annihilation if he's done anything improper with Elena. He gets so worked up that he starts to choke. Overwhelmed by his own protective father rage, Nobutaka passes out and collapses to the floor. Elena, holding a vase she presumably used, sighs at her father's dramatics. Elena calmly instructs Saori to take her father to his room so he doesn't catch a cold on the floor. She then turns to Hate and tells him she'll show him to his room, leaving Hate to think that he should probably never get on her bad side. 3 days have passed since the dungeons first appeared, and the real world is feeling the consequences. A reporter stands in a hospital that is overflowing with injured people. The situation is dire. Every hospital in the city is at full capacity, with beds even set up in lobbies and hallways as nurses rush to treat the wounded. The public is terrified. An interview with a 31-year-old man who barely escaped a dungeon shows him vowing never to go back after needing 5 stitches. Another young man questions why anyone would risk their life in a real dungeon when they could just play a video game instead. In response to the crisis, the Japanese government has established a dungeon countermeasures office and declared all the mysterious towers to be completely off-limits. An expert comments on the situation, comparing the towers to a Pandora's box. While they might contain undiscovered resources or even paranormal artifacts of astronomical value, attempting to secure their contents is not a realistic option for now. Elsewhere, the creator of the dungeons, a goddess-like being named Megumi-sama-chan, is in distress. With the government deeming the dungeons too dangerous, people have stopped coming. She panics, wondering why no one wants to play in her dungeons anymore. Megumi-sama-chan complains to her lead programmer, Sadaharu, about what she should do. Sadaharu, unfazed, reminds her that he's a programmer, not a marketing director. He tells her this outcome was entirely predictable, especially since it's only been 3 days and nobody wants to play in her dungeons anymore, causing her to freak out even more. Sadaharu explains basic game design to her. He points out that players aren't motivated by a vague command like, "Go clear this." They need compelling reasons to enter a dungeon, like special rewards for clearing it or specific goals to achieve if they fail. Suddenly, an idea strikes Megumi-sama-chan. She realizes that rewards and a goal are what's missing. She thanks Sadaharu and gets a brilliant, if not disastrous, idea to get people playing in her dungeons again. Sadaharu, meanwhile, washes his hands of the problem. The scene shifts to our protagonist, Hate, who is looking out from a balcony at the cityscape, his eyes fixed on the mysterious tower that has appeared. A young woman with long black hair, Elena, approaches him, with her maid in the background. Seeing her, Hate asks if she still wants to go into the dungeons. Hate confirms that he does, especially now that the government has made them completely off-limits. He laments that it's not like he can just walk around using his signature four-sword style out in the open. He looks out at the city, frustrated by all the talk of government task forces and dungeon resources. All he wants is a place where he can fight with his four-sword style, but that seems impossible now. Elena calls him an idiot and asks if he's forgotten who she is. She reveals her full name, Rina Shinonome, the sole heiress to one of Japan's 4 great financial conglomerates. Hade is stunned as she explains that pulling a few strings to get him official clearance to enter a dungeon is child's play for her family's Shinonome group. Rina confesses that it was painful for her to watch when they announced the abolition of the four-sword style. But when the dungeons suddenly appeared and she saw him fighting with a huge smile on his face, she thought it was a good thing. She looks at him and tells him, "You're at your absolute best when you're fighting with your 4 swords, Hate, with no one and nothing to hold you back, fighting to your heart's content." Hate thanks her, calling her Elena, which makes her blush and get flustered. He then tells her that for now, she's on lockdown and should be on her best behavior, not doing anything that might attract attention, which seems to annoy him slightly. Hate then reveals that he heard from Tadu, her maid, that when the four-sword style was abolished, Rina went and negotiated directly with the game admins for him. Rina is shocked that he knows. Embarrassed, Rina tries to deny it, but Hate points out her confusing behavior. She's always calling him an idiot and challenging him to PvP matches in the game, yet she does things like this for him. He admits that he honestly just thought she hated him. Hate continues, remembering a time in the past when she invited him to a dungeon just to cheer him up. He smiles warmly, admitting that he's kind of a mess without her and thanks her for looking out for him. Overwhelmed by his sudden sincerity, Rina is left utterly speechless and blushing profusely. She finally blurts out, "I do hate you." She complains that he says things that give people the wrong idea, shouting in frustration. Hate takes her outburst at face value, looking dejected and apologizing. Rina quickly tries to backtrack, saying that's not what she meant. Flustered, she changes the subject, asking if he remembers their bet. Hate remembers the bet, where the loser has to do one thing the winner says. He asks if she's thought about what she wants. Rina hesitates, feeling that after everything he's done for her, she'd be taking advantage by asking for anything. Still, looking at Hate with a determined expression, she tells him that if it's a wish from him, she'll do anything. Hate looks at her, surprised. As she walks away, Rina turns back slightly. With a shy smile, she admits that she's grateful to him, too, leaving Hate to wonder what she's getting at. In a heartfelt monologue, Rina reveals that as the sole heiress of the Shinonome family, her entire world felt gray and lonely. Crushed by expectations and surrounded by superficial friendships, she struggled to find her place. But somewhere along the way, her life began to have color, as she finally found a place where she could truly be herself. Continuing her confession, Rina says, "Because you were there, I was able to back." But before she can finish her sentence, she vanishes into thin air with a poof, leaving only her clothes behind on the balcony floor. Hate stares in disbelief at the empty pile of clothes. He stands there, completely shocked, calling out her name, "Elena?" The shock quickly turns to panic. Hate rushes to the railing, desperately shouting, "Elena? Answer me. Elena, where are you?" The commotion startles the maid, To-Do, who was waiting inside. She collapses in shock as Hate rushes to her, asking what just happened. Hate and To-Do stare at the spot where Rina was just standing, now only occupied by her clothes. To-Do says in disbelief, "The young mistress vanished?" Suddenly, a mysterious message appears before them. A special event has occurred. Both Hate and To-Do are startled, their shock visible on their faces. Another message follows immediately. 180 individuals have been designated as clear rewards. Confused, Hate and To-Do wonder what's happening, questioning if a special event like this ever existed in the game. As Hate shouts in confusion, "What in the world is going on?" the screen transitions to the title for the next chapter. Chapter 3, Obtain the Clear Reward. The title, Obtain the Clear Reward, Part 2, appears as Hate and To-Do are still reeling from Rina's sudden disappearance and the strange announcements. As Hate tries to make sense of the situation, To-Do urgently calls out to him, showing him a tablet. "Master Hate, something like this just appeared on the streaming site." The stream shows the self-proclaimed goddess, Megumi Sama-chan. After clearing her throat, she greets her favorite humans and playfully introduces herself. As people watch the stream, Megumi explains that it's been 3 days and nobody is coming to play in her dungeons anymore, which makes her super-duper sad. To fix this, she announces she has cooked up a super special event. With a dramatic ta-da, she unveils her special event, a large number of people floating, trapped inside glowing crystals. The people watching the stream are left speechless with shock. Megumi begins to list who these trapped people are, showing images of them. They include children of rich families, big-shot actors, and popular idols. The list continues: popular streamers, famous athletes, and genius creators. She declares that she has gathered all of everyone's favorite celebrities. The crowd watching below is bewildered, some thinking it must be CGI. Megumi compares the situation to the classic video game plot of rescuing a kidnapped princess. The stream then focuses on a trapped Rina Shinonome. Megumi cackles, announcing that if anyone ever wants to see these cuties again, they'll have to beat her dungeons to earn them back. Hate and To-Do can only watch in horror. Using a crude drawing and a notepad, Megumi explains the rules. She has officially made these 180 people the clear rewards for the Tier 2 dungeons, the Towers of the Spring. The first party to clear each tower gets the person inside. First come, first served. With a final cheerful message, she wishes her brave heroes good luck and tells them to smash the subscribe button before signing off with a toodles and disappearing. Hate and To-Do are left staring at the tablet, processing the shocking news. To-Do mutters, "Elena is a clear reward," while Hate wonders what is going on. Hate immediately asks To-Do which tower Rina is in. Using data from the stream, To-Do quickly confirms her location. She's in the Tower of the Spring, located in the Kanto region, right in front of the Shibuya Scramble Crossing. Just then, Rina's father, Nobutaka Shinomome, bursts into the room in a panic. He rushes towards them, demanding to know if it's true that his daughter Rina has vanished. Without missing a beat, Hate turns to the distraught father. "Mr. Nobutaka," he says calmly, "I need you to speak with your government contacts right now. Can you get me permission to enter the dungeon?" With a look of fierce determination, Hate clenches his fist and makes a solemn vow. "I'm going to go save Elena." His personal mission is now set, a single point of focus amidst growing global chaos. And that chaos is escalating rapidly. The news of the mass abduction spreads like wildfire, interrupting programs worldwide. Reports confirm over 180 prominent figures have vanished instantly, an act claimed by the self-proclaimed goddess, plunging the world into confusion and fear. The world is in an uproar. A distraught father cries that his son vanished like a bubble. Crowds of people panic in the streets, wondering if this is a mass kidnapping and questioning what the psycho goddess's endgame is. At a press conference, the President of the United States is grilled by reporters, one of whom asks him to confirm if his own daughter was among those taken. The president grimly announces that the United States government officially deems this incident an act of international terrorism and will take all necessary measures to ensure the swift rescue of the hostages. The public's reaction is mixed. Some fans protest, demanding the return of their beloved streamer, Amatan. Others seem to revel in the chaos, cheering for the goddess to burn the world down. Meanwhile, another wealthy tycoon, desperate to get his daughter back, ignores the government and offers a $10 million reward to anyone who can bring her back safely. The $10 million reward creates a frenzy. A massive crowd, including self-proclaimed high-ranking FWO players, rushes towards the tower, ignoring the guards' warnings that the towers are off-limits. The lure of being set for life is too strong to resist. Elsewhere, Megumi-sama-chan is ecstatic. Looking at a screen showing the massive influx of players, she excitedly tells Sadaru, "Look, Sadaru, the plan is a huge success." Megumi wonders who will be the first to clear a dungeon, thrilled with the results. The scene then cuts to Hade, who has arrived at the Tier 2 dungeon, the Tower of the Spring, accompanied by Tadu and Nobutaka's men. With a determined look, his face shadowed, Hade strides past Tadu and Nobutaka and through the security gate towards the dungeon entrance. As soon as he enters, his fans go wild. News that Hade is in the dungeon spreads instantly. His followers, who had been waiting for 3 days, eagerly share the stream URL, excited to see him in action. Inside the dungeon, a massive audience of over 3.8 million viewers, represented by monster avatars, has gathered to watch. They are incredibly hyped, wondering what kind of superplay he'll show them. They speculate that the government must have given him special permission to enter. The stream announces, Hayate's made his move to rescue the hostage, as he faces down a horde of various monsters blocking his path. Hayate immediately unleashes his four-sword style, becoming a whirlwind of motion as he simultaneously slices through multiple enemies. The people watching his stream are stunned by his overwhelming speed and power. The battle is over in an instant. The viewers can only say unbelievable, as they witness him wipe out the entire horde in a single moment. Hayate stands amidst the defeated monsters and says to himself, "Sorry, but I don't have time to play around this time." His eyes burning with intensity, Hayate declares his intention loud and clear. "I'm clearing this dungeon on the absolute fastest route." Continuing his quest, Hayate, a dynamic warrior with spiky blonde hair, finds himself swarmed by a horde of fishmen and frog-like monsters inside the Tower of the Spring. With a look of intense focus, he prepares to unleash a sweeping attack. Hayate dashes through the chaos, expertly wielding his signature four-sword style. He effortlessly cuts down the attacking monsters, clearing a path forward with blinding speed. Meanwhile, in a different location, a group of what appear to be game developers or analysts watch Hayate's progress with shocked expressions. The tension in the room is high, underscored by a sign that reads, "Don't stop your hands." Deadline is today. A notification pops up on the screen, showing a new item drop, a dagger of water. One of the younger observers cheers excitedly at the valuable loot. However, Hayate simply runs past the dropped item, leaving it behind. An analyst with glasses notes with concern that this isn't like the Hayate they know. He's adopting a dangerous playstyle that prioritizes speed above all else. The scene shifts, showing Hate in a prior conversation with two individuals, the formally dressed, bearded Nobutaka Shinamome and his head maid, Sari Tadu. Nobutaka expresses his gratitude but also his concern, advising Hate not to push himself too hard on his mission to save Rina. Hate explains the urgency. The goddess who created the dungeons declared that the first person to clear it could claim Rina as their reward. With 3 days having passed since the event started, it's highly likely another capable player could appear and clear the dungeon first. Clenching his fist, Hate passionately states that with Elena trapped, there's no way he can just sit back and do nothing. She needs to be rescued as fast as humanly possible. Back in the present, Nobutaka looks on with a heavy heart, saying he should be the one risking his life as her father. Tadu, however, reassures him, stating that they must put their faith in Master Hate. As they watch the stream, Tadu explains to Nobutaka that the difficulty spike is substantial. For context, the average clear time for the Tower of the Spring in the original game was approximately 15 hours. Tadu elaborates that the standard protocol is to halt and farm materials for equipment upgrades, especially since it's a water attribute dungeon. Nobutaka, impressed, acknowledges her knowledge, to which she confidently replies that it is her duty to have reviewed all of the young mistress's past streams. Inside the game, Hate arrives at floor 4. He is immediately confronted by a massive horde of various water-based monsters, including crabs, fishmen, and large amphibians. Watching the monitor, Tadu explains that the 4th floor is a monster house, a stage where one must fight through a massive horde while advancing along the shore of a large spring. Nobutaka worries if Hate will be alright on his own, as this floor normally requires a party of at least 4. Tadu reassures him, cryptically stating that there is a trick to this floor. Instead of fighting the horde, Hate begins charging straight for the spring, dashing past the monsters. One of the viewers back in the monitoring room screams in disbelief at his reckless action. As he runs, a shark-like monster emerges from the water. Hate leaps into the air, poising to strike it as he passes. Hate lands directly on the monster's back, using its body as a platform to propel himself forward over the water. Nobutaka watches in utter astonishment, realizing Hate is using the monsters as stepping stones. Tadu explains that this is a known technique called the spring shortcut. It involves using the monsters themselves as platforms to create the fastest route through the spring. However, the viewers watch in terror, knowing that if he falls, he'll be devoured in an instant. As Hate flawlessly leaps from monster to monster, Tadu explains that the spring shortcut requires precise character control and calm judgment, with a success rate of only about 60% even among top-tier players. If he succeeds, he can clear a floor that normally takes over an hour in a mere 10 minutes. Just as he nears the end, a gigantic octopus boss emerges from the water, shocking the viewers who question why an octopus is even in a spring. Without breaking his stride, Hate dodges the massive tentacles and continues his high-speed assault across the water's surface. He leaps and lands a powerful stomp directly on the giant octopus's head, stunning it and using it as his final stepping stone to reach the shore. The viewers are left speechless. A female analyst exclaims that he cleared it without a single slip-up, while another viewer doesn't know whether to be on the edge of his seat or completely at ease. Hate lands firmly on the other side. Catching his breath for only a moment, a determined Hate readies his sword and mutters, "All right, next." His unrelenting drive leaves everyone wondering if anyone can possibly stop him. Back with his observers, Tadu analyzes the data. She reports that Hate's clear time for the 4th floor was under 2 hours and, at this pace, he'll reach the boss in just 5 hours total. Nobutaka can only stare in disbelief, repeating, 5 hours. Nobutaka is amazed by Hate's speed, saying it's just as expected of him. Tadu, however, wears a more somber expression, praying for Rina's safety and noting that Hate's success is contingent on him maintaining this breakneck pace. His rapid progress brings him to a grand, ornate door marking the entrance to floor 7. As he pushes the heavy doors open, Hate steels himself, confident he can win. He believes the mid-boss is Leviathan, a foe whose attack patterns and weaknesses are burned into his brain from countless hours of playing the original game. But upon entering, Hate finds himself in a vast, empty, tiled chamber. Confused, he looks around, wondering where the enemy is. A single drip echoes as a black, cube-like object rises from the shallow water. Hayate's eyes widen, and he readies his stance as the mysterious object begins to transform, asking aloud, "What is that thing?" The object fully materializes into a sleek, white and black android. To Hayate's shock, the robot is equipped with a mechanical rig that perfectly mimics his own four-sword style. Hayate stares in disbelief at the enemy before him, a mechanical doppelganger ready for battle in the eerie, empty chamber. The audience watching the stream is equally bewildered. They question what this is, as the mid-boss was supposed to be Leviathan. They wonder if this creepy, humanoid robot is some kind of bug. The camera closes in on the blank, robotic face of the mysterious boss, its very presence a question mark in the dungeon. In the control room, the goddess, Megumi Sama-chan, turns to the dungeon designer, a man with glasses and tied-back hair named Sadaharu. She asks him about the super OP boss they had discussed. Sadaharu calmly explains that it's a special enemy designed to trace the movements of a certain four-sword style user. The goddess seems unconcerned, nonchalantly assuming Hayate won't lose. Sadaharu reveals the chilling truth. The boss was built based on data received from Hayate himself to help improve the game's controls. After all, its stats are even higher than a level 5 dungeon boss. Back in the fight, the robot strikes a pose. Hayate and the viewers recognize it immediately. It's his own stance. The two warriors face each other across the watery floor, perfect mirror images. They stare each other down, the tension palpable before the inevitable clash. The battle explodes into action. The fake Hayate rushes forward, forcing the real Hayate onto the back foot as he narrowly parries a powerful blow. The robot unleashes a flurry of strikes, a perfect replication of the Hayate-style four-sword technique. The sounds of clashing steel fill the chamber as Hayate desperately defends against his own moves. Hayate finds an opening and counters with one of his own signature moves, the four-strike revolution. Seeing the identical special moves, the analysts and viewers confirm in shock that the boss really is copying Hayate's movements. The viewers speculate on what they're seeing. One suggests it might be like a boss that mimics a player's reflection in water, something they've never seen in the game FWO before. Hayate realizes if that's the case, this is a truly bad situation. An analyst comes to a terrifying conclusion. Because the boss isn't just copying whoever shows up, it means this mid-boss is permanently a fake Hayate. The group recoils in horror at the implication. Does this mean they'd have to fight this incredibly powerful, custom-built boss every single time to rescue a hostage? One of them says there's no way that can be true. In the midst of their battle, the fake Hayate's sword smashes through Hayate's own, shattering it. Hayate looks on in shock, exclaiming, "Who could possibly beat something like this?" As the clang of swords echoes from the stream, the viewers watch with bated breath. They had thought it would be an even match in terms of skill, but now one of them worriedly asks, "You can win, right?" Hayate. Despite their identical techniques, a troubling reality becomes clear to everyone watching. Somehow, the real Hayate is being decisively pushed back. From his hospital bed, an expert viewer pinpoints the reason for the gap in power. It's not a difference in skill, but a massive difference in their gear. While the fake Hayate is fully kitted out, Hayate's weapons and armor are just a mishmash of starter items from a level 1 dungeon. The hospitalized expert continues his breakdown, listing the fake Hayate's overpowered arsenal, the magic sealing sword, the mechanized power sword, and the ice dual swords, Carafal's arc. Every single one is a level 5 dungeon item or better. He adds that since combat power in this world is heavily gear-dependent, the fake Hayate's superior manipulator, which is 500 milliseconds faster than Hayate's, means even a half-second delay is a death sentence. Another viewer points out that Hayate is also exhausted from sprinting all the way to this floor. The grim conclusion is that the fight was never a fair match to begin with. The prediction comes true as the fake Hayate lands a critical blow, piercing Hayate's chest. The odds are now completely and utterly stacked against him. The force of the impact sends Hayate sliding back across the watery floor, his body taking a massive hit. Hayate collapses to his knees, bleeding and panting for breath. Watching the stream, a viewer asks in despair, "No way. Is Hayate going to lose?" The global chat erupts in fury. Viewers call the boss broken and the game garbage, screaming at the goddess and the developers. But it's a futile effort, as once you enter a mid-boss room, you're locked in until it's dead. Watching from their home, Nobutaka and Tadu look on in absolute horror. Nobutaka screams at the screen, pleading for Hate to escape, convinced he is going to die. In stark, disturbing contrast, the goddess Megumi-sama-chan celebrates with glee, cheering, "Yay! So cool. He's the ultimate boss, all right. So strong." Megumi asks Sadaharu if he wants to watch, but he's trying to work. She then wonders why the chat is full of complaints. Sadaharu, frustrated, reminds her that a firestorm of complaints was inevitable since they gave the boss the power of a top ranker with in-game gear. Sadaharu grimly states that the only kind of player who would actually enjoy a boss with such sadistic specs are the most hardcore gaming addicts. As he says this, the scene cuts to Hate, who now wears a look of intense, almost crazed, concentration. The viewers have all but lost hope. An analyst declares that a boss with Hate's moves and gear that's level 5 or higher is just completely broken. Panic spreads as the audience realizes Hate is actually bleeding, questioning if it's even okay to stream something so graphic. Nobutaka and Tadu come to the same hopeless conclusion. There's no way even Hate can win this. Just as despair sets in, one of the analysts suddenly shouts, "No, it's too soon to give up. Look at his expression." The camera focuses on Hate's face. Despite the blood and exhaustion, he's smiling. The analyst realizes with a start that Hate hasn't given up yet and might have something up his sleeve. A wave of hope washes over the viewers. They decide that the only thing the viewers, can do is to trust the streamer, cheer him on, and believe that he absolutely will not lose. Suddenly, Hate's body goes limp and he slumps forward, motionless. The hopeful viewers are thrown into confusion, asking what he's doing. The chat explodes with panicked questions as Hate remains motionless in front of his enemy. He stopped moving. Is it blood loss? Hey, you're kidding, right, Hate? As the fake Hate powers up for a finishing blow, a viewer screams in desperation, "Don't tell me you've actually given up." The viewers collectively hold their breath, yelling at the screen for Hate to get a grip and move as the fake Hate lunges forward to end the fight. At the very last possible moment, Hate's eyes snap open. With a burst of speed, he effortlessly swooshes to the side, dodging the lethal blow and looking back at his mechanical twin. The analyst who had pointed out Hate's smile stares at the screen, utterly baffled by the sudden turn of events. Hate, now moving with a fluid grace, effortlessly dodges a flurry of attacks from his robotic counterpart, weaving through the strikes with newfound confidence. The analyst screams in amazement. Despite having 4 swords coming at him, Hate is dodging every single one by a hair's breadth. He masterfully evades each attack, his broken sword now held in a reverse grip. Hate meets a powerful downward strike with his own blade, the impact creating a brilliant flash of light. He has successfully shifted from defense to offense. The viewers go wild as the fake Hate is sent flying. The lead analyst screams, "A counter! I have no idea what just happened, but Hate's awakened." Hate finally understands. He says, "I knew it. That last attack. If it had lunged just half a step further, it would have finished me. But it couldn't." He has discovered his opponent's critical flaw. With dawning realization, Hate identifies the familiar attack patterns. Those movements, from a year ago. The viewers echo his shock, one asking, his past self. The truth becomes clear. The boss isn't copying the current Hate, it's modeled after him from his gaming days a year ago. With a confident smirk, he declares, "There's no way the man I am now could lose to the man I used to be." Filled with renewed vigor, Hate charges forward, ready to prove how much he has grown in the past year. The battle becomes a one-sided dance. Hate, now fully in control, effortlessly weaves around his past self's attacks, parrying and countering with graceful precision. He lands a powerful blow, smashing his sword into the fake Hate's torso and sending it reeling backward. The viewers are stunned by the sudden and complete reversal. One of the analysts yells, "Did he just turn the tables completely? Just a moment ago, Hate was the one getting pushed back." The expert viewer from the hospital bed explains the phenomenon. Because it's a copy of his past self, Hate can see every move before it happens. He knows every instinct, the timing of every strike, and is shutting the boss down by perfectly predicting its every move. The crowd marvels at his ability, wondering if it's even humanly possible. This incredible skill, making the impossible look easy, is precisely why he's known as Japan's strongest FWO solo player. The relentless assault continues as Hate ducks under a swing and prepares a counterattack, moving faster and more decisively than his mechanical copy. He swats away one of the robot's blades and sees his opening for the final, decisive blow. Leaping into the air, Hate uses his own signature style against his copy, spinning with immense force to deliver the final attack. With a triumphant grin, he unleashes his ultimate skill, the High-8 four-sword technique. Four-strike revolution. The attack lands squarely, shattering the robotic clone into pieces. The viewers, along with a relieved Nobutaka and Tadu, erupt in cheers, celebrating the hard-won victory. The battle rages on. Inside the game, a robotic boss is stunned, unable to comprehend the situation. Meanwhile, in the real world, the live stream chat explodes with hype. Viewers are screaming, convinced of High-8's victory, calling him the GOAT. They cheer him on, amazed by his overwhelming strength. Watching the events unfold from a control room is the dungeon's creator, a being known as the Goddess. She stares in disbelief, her eyes swirling with shock. "Why?" she screams. "How did the tables turn so completely?" In a panic, the Goddess calls out for her programmer, Sadaharu. He turns from his monitors, looking annoyed. "What is it this time?" he sighs, clearly used to her outbursts. The Goddess clings to Sadaharu, frantically crying. "Sadaharu, what's happening? It was winning just a moment ago. My ultimate boss is about to be defeated." But Sadaharu is deep in thought, analyzing the data. "That's impossible," he mutters. "That boss has better specs than a level 5 dungeon boss. There's no way it should be losing this easily." "It's true, I'm telling you." Suddenly, Sadaharu gasps. On the screen, he sees the player's face clearly for the first time. A young man with a confident, almost cocky smile, completely unfazed by the battle. The Goddess points at the screen in shock. "That's him. That's the person whose movements we used as the source for the special boss," she exclaims. Sadaharu asks if it's an acquaintance of hers, but his expression suggests he's beginning to understand something. A look of realization dawns on Sadaharu's face. "I see. So that's how the Tower of Black was cleared so quickly. I knew a kid like him would enter the dungeon. Why didn't I realize it sooner?" he laments, while the Goddess remains confused, demanding to know who the player is. Sadaharu explains. "That's Hate Shizukishi, a second year in high school, and the solo FWO player known as Japan's strongest. He's a genius of the four-sword style, who perfectly mastered a piece of equipment once considered to be a total failure." Back in the game, Hate unleashes a furious assault, his four blades moving in a blur as he presses his advantage against the faltering boss. The Goddess screams as she witnesses the ultimate boss's arm being shattered. "What is with this kid? He looks like a totally normal boy, but isn't he just way too strong?" Sadaharu, "He has to be using a cheat." Sadaharu simply replies, "Look who's talking." Sadaharu clarifies, "Well, to say his strength is cheat level is about half correct. He's just built differently. Up here," he says, pointing to his own head. He elaborates further. "It's not a perfect analogy, but his brain is a little different from the average person's. It's like he has multiple smaller brains functioning inside of one." The Goddess can only stare blankly, trying to comprehend. Sadaharu provides incredible examples of High-8's cognitive power. His brain's ability to process multiple things at once is abnormally high. He once watched 8 movies simultaneously and remembered every plot. He can distinguish 10 different voices speaking at the same time and solve complex arithmetic problems on 4 screens at once. He is, in essence, the ultimate multitasker, Sadaharu explains. Thanks to that, he can control 4 arms as if they were his own, making it look easy. I believe it's a unique development that came from his continuous use of the four-sword style. However, he adds, and in the world of gaming, geniuses like him are a dime a dozen. The Goddess is confused. But the special boss had super strong gear, right? So why is it being cornered like this? Sadaharu looks away, admitting the fatal flaw in their design. Well, That's because the data is a year old. Its specs are inferior to his current self. The goddess's face freezes in horror. The screen cracks, showing the final moments of the boss. It cracked. The goddess panics. If this keeps up, he'll win again, and everyone will call my dungeon a cakewalk. What are we going to do? I thought this was supposed to be a sadistic game. It's over. The ultimate boss has lost. The goddess throws her hands up in despair, wailing for her adorable, ultimate boss. But Sadaharu interrupts her grief with more bad news. Sadaharu delivers the truly disastrous news. The program for the level 3 dungeon is not complete. If he clears this one now, the event for the next dungeon's appearance won't trigger. The goddess lets out a blood-curdling scream. In a complete meltdown, the goddess grabs Sadaharu, begging him. Okay, that's bad. Sadaharu, use your fighting spirit and get it done in time. Please, I'll lick your shoes, I'll lick candy, I'll lick whatever. Sadaharu remains firm against her desperate pleas. Sadaharu grabs her face, silencing her. I did warn you about this, he says coldly. I said we should wait until the level 5 systems were finished before launching dungeons in the real world. But you got impatient and pushed it live anyway. The goddess admits she just couldn't wait to show it to everyone. The goddess desperately asks, can't we just make the final boss way stronger? Sadaharu is appalled by the suggestion. What? You want to actively prevent a player from clearing the game? That's just. The goddess admits her miscalculation, having thought it would take a player months to clear. She begins rattling off absurd solutions. Fine, then, create a special event that makes him go home. For a player like him? Utterly pointless. Then just throw more monsters at him. She ignores the fact that there isn't enough time to program boss enhancements, and a bigger disaster looms if hate finishes and there's no next dungeon. The goddess frantically throws her notebooks around, filled with half-baked ideas. Is this what they call being fresh out of ideas? She wails, begging for any other suggestions. Sadaharu just sits there, dumbfounded, wondering where she is even getting these terrible concepts from. Sadaharu looks over her scattered notes. They detail nonsensical ideas for live battle events, a uselessly heavy silver dagger, and a tower race. He grimly realizes her plan B is to turn the dungeon into a trash game if the new level isn't ready in time. He picks up one of the notebooks. It's a design document for the Tower of the Spring, filled with childish drawings and terribly misspelled notes outlining unfair mechanics like monster houses, a movement-slowing muddy forest, and a giant octopus boss. Sadaharu flips through the pages, his expression growing more and more weary with each terrible idea. He holds up her notebook, revealing a childish drawing. It depicts the goddess herself as a boss, with little stick figures cheering. So OP. So strong. The title reads, Megumi-sama-chan becomes the boss. Oh, that? It's exactly what the drawing says, the goddess proclaims proudly. I, the goddess, will become the final boss. Everyone absolutely loves this kind of stuff. Having the mastermind make a personal appearance is a classic trope in games and anime, right? Sadaharu stares at her, utterly speechless. Sadaharu can hardly believe what he's hearing. You can't be serious. He mutters. Undeterred, the goddess floats closer, asking with genuine curiosity, is something like that not possible? Sadaharu begins to break down the situation. So, a scenario where you would inhabit the final boss's avatar to fight him yourself. From a technical standpoint, I believe it can be prepared in time. However, he quickly pivots. However, I must strongly advise against this. First, we have no idea if the boss's physical avatar can even handle your divine power, goddess. And more importantly, for a developer to personally intervene just to block a player is completely unheard of. He continues his warning. If the truth gets out that you were controlling the boss, the player base will be furious. If that happens, we might not get anyone to play in the dungeon ever again. He then puts the question to her. However, there is no other way to stop him. What will you do, goddess? Sadaharu looks at her intently, placing the burden of the choice squarely on her shoulders. This is your dungeon. If you say you want to do it, then my job is simply to support you. The goddess meets his gaze, her expression hardening with resolve. I've made up my mind, she announces, her voice ringing with determination. This is the only way to stop him, right? Prepare for it, Sadaharu. With a grim look of concentration, Sadaharu concedes. Understood. I will begin at once. As he gets to work, the goddess watches Hayate's progress on the monitor, whispering, "Don't think too poorly of me, Hayate." Her solemn mood vanishes in an instant. "This goddess will not allow you to proceed any further," she declares grandly. Then, with a cheerful grin, she tells Sadaharu, "We're having a victory party when I get back, so get that ready too, okay?" Sadaharu can only mutter to himself, "Maybe I shouldn't have suggested this." Back in the dungeon, the battle is over. The fake Hate boss lies defeated in the water as a you-win screen materializes. Hate himself is on his hands and knees, panting from exhaustion after the grueling fight. Still trying to catch his breath, Hate pulls out a healing potion from his inventory to recover from the damage he sustained. He drinks the potion, the relief palpable. That was way too close, he thinks, reflecting on the brutal fight. I only won because I was fighting a ghost of my former self. Against anything else, I would have been finished. I got careless, Hate admits to himself, examining his broken sword. I never imagined my fully reinforced iron sword would just shatter. He shudders, realizing how close he came to death. If that cut had been any deeper, I would have been killed instantly. It was my mistake. I rushed ahead and neglected my gear. He stares at the path forward, his resolve hardening. This gear is useless now. I have to forge something that can actually see this through. He contemplates the final boss, wondering if it will be at the same level as the mid-boss, or even stronger. The scene shifts to Washington, D.C., USA, where another tower of the spring looms over the city, dwarfing the Washington Monument. At its base, a squad of soldiers prepares to enter. All units, gear check. Report. Don't let your guard down. Let's move out. With a cry of breaching, the heavily armored squad storms into the dungeon, shields raised and weapons ready. The lead soldier's eyes are wide with a mix of fear and adrenaline. It was a slaughter. The same robotic mid-boss, Fake Hate, stands silently in a pool of water, surrounded by the bodies of the fallen soldiers. It twitches, splattered with their blood. News of the disaster spreads online. An analyst reports, it's confirmed, the U.S. Special Forces were completely wiped out on the 7th floor. Viewers react with anger and disbelief, spamming comments like, "Trash game," "What a joke," and BS. It's confirmed that the mid-boss is always Fake Hate. An expert explains the grim reality of dying in the dungeon. They're not dead, but they don't regain consciousness. They probably need a feather of resurrection, or something. A news anchor gives a stark warning. We are now reporting over 400,000 casualties worldwide. These towers are not theme parks. Do not, under any circumstances, enter out of curiosity. The global crisis escalates. The U.S. president is hysterical, screaming that his daughter has been taken. Word spreads that the Chinese and Russian armies were annihilated too. The world begins to despair, realizing that Fake Hate is an unbeatable wall, and that rescuing the hostages might be impossible. Hayate's friends, watching the news, connect the dots in horror. No way. Wait. So Hate is the only one who's actually beaten it? Out of the entire world, only one guy. The staggering number of players worldwide flashes across the screen, highlighting the impossible nature of his feat. The weight of the world suddenly falls on Hayate's shoulders. The realization hits him as he holds a case, likely containing a hostage item. Is he really the only one who can save them? Hate knows he needs better gear. He pulls up the crafting menu for a water-slaying blade, a dagger effective against water elemental foes. He can gather the materials, but the crafting fee alone is a staggering 780,000 yen. It's too expensive. It's no use. I don't have anywhere near enough, he despairs. He assesses his grim situation. My only option is to forge a few powerful weapons, and hope my current armor is enough for the rest. A full suit of armor is a pipe dream right now. His friends watching the stream realize that even with his streaming income, he's stuck. For a high school kid, that kind of money is insane. His friends feel his desperation. Damn it, to be stopped by something like this. If only there was a way. Then, one of them spots something on the stream's interface. He starts clicking, his eyes widening in excitement. Wait a second. This function. Holy crap, can we actually use this? As Hate laments his lack of funds, a notification pings. A donation for 1,000 yen appears on his screen. What? Is this? He wonders, confused. Suddenly, the notifications become a flood. Ping, ping, ping. Hate watches in utter disbelief as his balance skyrockets. Donations of all sizes pour in from countless viewers. What is going on? My balance is increasing? His friends watching the stream have figured it out. Hey, the donation feature on this channel. You can send money directly to Hate. This realization sparks a wildfire of support. Then take my money too. My figure budget can wait this month. Take it all, Hate. The messages of support are overwhelming. Let us help. Go on. Use it all. Hate is stunned, realizing that everyone watching his stream is rallying behind him. And then, a single donation blows everything else away. A jaw-dropping 5 billion yen. Hate's friends are left speechless. 5 billion. The massive donation came from none other than the head of the Shinonome Group. He fiercely commands. That is the power of the Shinonome Group. Now please, accept it, as his maid looks on. His face appears on the stream with a powerful message for Hate. You are not fighting alone, Hate. Every last one of us is your ally. Let us be the swords on your back. From her crystal prison, the hostage Elena smiles faintly, thinking, to have friends on your adventure. It's not so bad, is it? Hate is visibly moved by the outpouring of support. Overwhelmed with emotion, Hate turns away and offers his sincere gratitude. Everyone, thank you. Meanwhile, the online chat is still losing its mind over the 5 billion yen donation, calling Lady Elena's diehard fans terrifying. Elsewhere, trapped in a dark, crystalline prison, the hostage Elena begins to stir. Where am I? She wonders, her consciousness slowly returning. She is floating in an endless, cold darkness. I can't move my body. I can't hear anything. I'm scared. Panic sets in as she desperately calls out. Anyone. Somebody. Please, someone save me. A brilliant light cuts through the darkness. In the distance, a heroic silhouette appears, pushing open massive doors. A single name escapes her lips, a beacon of hope. Hate. Decked out in powerful new gear thanks to the donations, Hate arrives at the final chamber. He steps into the light and announces his presence. Sorry I'm late. I'm here to save you, Elena. Hate now stands in the final boss arena, a vast area with floating islands. Before him is the area boss, with Elena's crystal prison floating ominously beside her. To think you would manage to defeat my guardians and find your way here, the boss says. The boss, a water spirit, fully materializes. You are more capable than I expected, hero of the future. Hate looks on with grim determination, while Elena watches in shock from her prison. The final battle of the tower is about to begin, titled Defeat Undine. Hate's silhouette pushes open the heavy doors to the boss chamber. Hate steps into the shallow water of the arena, facing the final boss and the crystal holding Elena. Sorry I'm late, he repeats. The whole world is watching this final confrontation. Viewers recognize Lady Elena trapped beside the boss. The final fight is starting, and his friends shout their support. You have to win, Hate. A chorus of support erupts from his friends and viewers across the globe. Go, Hate. We've got your back. Kick her ass. Don't you dare lose. Their collective plea echoes in his mind. Save the hostages. The game identifies the opponent. Tower of the Spring area boss, Undine. The question mark hints that something is amiss. She speaks with an air of superiority. To think you would manage to defeat my guardians and find your way here. You are more capable than I expected, hero of the future. The viewers are shocked. Whoa, she talks. So Undine is a talking boss. Hate, unfazed, prepares for battle, thinking it's just like the game. The boss gives a cryptic reply. Let's hope so. Suddenly, Undine's entire demeanor shifts. Surrounded by a cute, bubbly aura, she strikes a pose and begins to speak in a strange, theatrical manner, stumbling over her words. How of? No, thy quest ends now. Thou shalt answer for defiling my sanctuary. Hate can only stare, completely baffled by the bizarre display. His friends watching the stream are equally dumbfounded, rendered speechless by the strange turn of events. Everyone notices the awkward performance. Something's weird with her lines. She's totally flubbing them. Did they change the voice actor? The chat comments wonder. One of Hate's friends doesn't mince words. And that voice. It sounds so utterly moronic. The blunt comment hits its mark. The boss chokes, and in that instant, Hi-8's eyes widen with dawning horror and realization. It's the goddess, isn't it? The viewers are stunned by the accusation. That damn goddess is inside Undine. Huh? Why? Caught. The goddess as Undine tries to maintain her dignity. Oof. WWL. If I've been found out, it can't be helped. Since her cover is blown, the goddess decides to go all in. That's right. The true identity of Undine is none other than the creator of this very dungeon. The one, the only, Megumi Sama-chan. His friends can only stare in disbelief. She got exposed instantly. It seems my overflowing charisma simply could not be contained, she declares, trying to regain control of the situation. And so, I, the goddess, have descended to stop you personally. Right now, due to certain circumstances on my end, I can't let you clear this dungeon. The viewers are absolutely stunned. She continues her grandstanding. So, aren't you just speechless with shock? For the goddess herself to grace you with her presence. The mastermind revealing herself to stand in the hero's way. Everybody loves a hype moment like this, right? In the control room, Sadaharu lets out a weary sigh. But the reaction from one of Hi-8's friends, a hardcore FWO fan, is not what she expected. He begins to laugh maniacally. Are you kidding me? The goddess is taken aback. Huh? He explodes in a fury of righteous anger. My dear Undine would never talk like that. She's a cool and graceful character, you idiot. And you're doing this. In her body. There's a limit to how much you can misinterpret a character. He slams his desk, his keyboard cracking under the force of his rage. The chat erupts with rage from Undine's loyal fanbase. Don't you dare defile my Undine. What the hell do you think you are doing? Go study the source material. Get out. The goddess is completely blindsided. Wait, what's this? She stammers, turning to Sadaharu for an explanation. Did I do something wrong? As the goddess panics, Sadaharu explains the situation over the comms. My apologies, I had forgotten. Due to her appearance and personality, Undine has a small but extremely fanatical fanbase. The goddess is shocked. Who? Since when? But the backlash goes far beyond her portrayal of Undine. The viewers' frustrations with the entire game boil over. The chat fills with furious comments. It's all your fault. Go learn how to balance a game, you moron. The dungeon's design is a complete mess. But one comment cuts the deepest. This isn't fun at all. The goddess freezes, the words echoing in her mind. No, my dungeon isn't fun. The crowd's sentiment turns completely. They're no longer cheering for a boss fight. They're calling for the developer's head. Go hate. Go and wreck this idiot. Teach that moron goddess a lesson. Hate cuts through the noise, getting straight to the point. Hey, can we start now? He asks, readying his weapon. He looks the goddess dead in the eye. Once I clear the Tower of the Spring, meaning once I defeat you, you'll release Elena, right? The goddess, still shaken, quietly agrees. Yes, that's right. If you can defeat me. But her demeanor quickly sours into a pout. Honestly, what is wrong with you people? I worked so hard to make a dungeon that everyone would love. But just because there's one little thing you don't like, all you do is whine and complain. She finally snaps. The playful facade disappears, replaced by pure rage. That's it. I'm mad now. I'll teach you what happens when you make the goddess angry. Hate remains unfazed. A battle that you're fated to lose for the sake of the plot. That's a pretty common thing in games, isn't it? He cracks his knuckles, a determined look on his face. Sorry, but I won't be holding back at all. The goddess ascends, gathering an immense amount of magical energy. She smirks. I believe this is what you call a scripted loss. She is preparing to unleash an unavoidable, overwhelming attack. With a malevolent gleam in her eye, she unleashes her ultimate attack. Level 6 magic. Tidal wave. A colossal wave of water materializes, threatening to engulf the entire arena. His friends watching from the real world are horrified. This is bad, cries out one of his friends. Tidal wave is the highest class, full-range water attack. There's no way to dodge that. The chat panics. She's really playing dirty now, they cry. All eyes are on Hade as the monstrous wave bears down on him. The massive wave crashes down, but something impossible happens. It splits perfectly around Hate, as if hitting an invisible shield, leaving him completely untouched. The goddess can only stare in utter shock. Hate stands firm amidst the raging waters. "Sorry, but I don't give a damn about your script," he says, looking up at the stunned goddess. "I don't care if it's a scripted loss. I'll cut through it all, and I will defeat you."